If you go to any barbershop or scroll through NBA Twitter, the consensus is that Steph Curry ruined basketball by making everyone think they can pull up from 35 feet. Nobody wants to practice mid-range and post moves anymore. They just want to chuck up shots. But here's the reality. Steph was shooting the lights out and breaking records, long before anyone knew who Draymond Green was. And you know what? Back then, nobody cared. Nobody was trying to emulate Steph's game because Steph was viewed as a total anomaly. His play style didn't shift the entire league's philosophy until Draymond Green entered the starting lineup. Why? Because when Draymond became the starting power forward, the Warriors didn't just hit threes, they started winning rings. And in the NBA, everything is an experiment until it wins a championship. Once it works, the copycat league is born. By sliding into that lineup, Draymond Green didn't just prove a jump shooting team could win. He practically assassinated the most important position in basketball history, the center. Before Draymond, there were strict, traditional heights for every position. Sure, you had your outliers. Guys like Magic Johnson and Penny Hardaway broke the mold. But they never stuck as the rule. They were always the exception. For the entirety of basketball history, you built around the big man. Even during and after the Michael Jordan era, bigs ruled the world. Don't believe me? Let's look at the #1 overall draft picks in NBA history. In almost every single decade prior to the 2010s, centers and power forwards absolutely dominated the #1 overall picks. In the 1960s, there were 3 centers and 3 power forwards drafted first overall. In the 1970s, it was 5 centers. In the 1980s, an insane 7 centers were taken #1 overall. In the 1990s, power forwards took the crown with 6 top picks. And the 2000s went right back to centers with 5. Then, the 2010s happened. Suddenly, the script flipped, and point guards had the most #1 picks with 4. So, how did Draymond put traditional 7-footers out of business? Pace and switching. When Draymond grabbed a defensive rebound, he didn't hand it to a guard. He immediately pushed the pace. Traditional 7-footers couldn't keep up with him in transition, meaning it was basically a 5-on-4 fast break every single time. Opposing coaches panicked and benched their bigs. On top of that, the Warriors system relied on heavy switching. Draymond Green could genuinely guard 1 through 5. Traditional centers? They'd get cooked on the perimeter. This caused teams to stop hunting for traditional centers altogether. It even forced the NBA to change the All-Star and All-NBA voting formats, ditching the mandatory center spot for generic front court and back court designations. Welcome to the era of positionless basketball. Today, teams want to draft a guy, plug him anywhere, and expect him to guard everyone. Historically, it was obvious. A point guard couldn't guard a center, and a center couldn't guard a point guard. Now, point guards get blasted for getting posted up, and centers get played off the floor if they can't stay in front of a guard. You can't blame Steph for that. That's the Draymond effect. If you are a traditional center or power forward today, you will likely never be drafted #1 overall again unless you can dribble and bring the ball up the court like a guard. This shift has directly led to the height inflation of the point guard position. Point guards are currently the tallest they have ever been in NBA history. Facilitators like Luka Doncic, who is 6'7", and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is 6'6", have driven the average point guard height up to around 6'3". Why? Because teams are terrified of a small guard getting picked on by a 7-footer bringing the ball up the floor. But wait, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Certain defensive guards in the NBA today are reminding us exactly why positions matter. Starting with Alex Caruso on the Thunder in last year's playoffs, and leading to Drew Holiday matching up against Victor Wembanyama. When you see a guy like Alex Caruso switched onto a giant like Nikola Jokic, or Drew Holiday digging in against a 7'4" alien like Wembanyama, it reminds us why traditional roles existed. A 7-footer is not supposed to feel comfortable putting the ball on the floor around a 6'4" guard. They are supposed to live in fear of getting their pocket picked. Seeing elite guards lock down bigger players gives the rest of the NBA hope. It proves there is still a spot for the little guy if you can defend. The stark reality is this. The only way for smaller guards to survive in today's NBA is to either be a generational offensive talent or an absolute terror on defense. The better they defend, the more they enforce traditional basketball roles. But if their defense slips, positionless basketball takes over even more, and the small guard will slowly go extinct. So the next time you see a 6'9" guy bringing the ball up the court while a 6'2" guard fights for his life in the post, don't look at Steph Curry. Look at Draymond Green. This is ASED. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day.